final chip before potting.
Oh boy.
Or during potting. Get a little crunch.
What a way to start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this
Let's go.
Okay. You're fueled up now. Hello everyone and welcome to the 122nd episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. My name is Benedict. You may know me better as BHL Hudson. Here we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. With me as always is my friend, co-host. Oh wait, sorry, my window's open. Sorry, I'm really just
My friend goes and oh my god, I live in a house.
I was like, why is it so loud in here? My friend, co-host, and non-COVID having buddy, Frederick. What a legend.
Brilliant.
So good of you not to have it. You're such a healthy person.
So the way you're saying it makes it sound as if you're being sarcastic and then I have COVID. When in fact, there is a jester. There is a fool in the room.
Yeah.
So let's rewind the clock a week. We're sitting blissfully.
Yep.
Potting. You're feeling a bit under the weather, but you're like, you know what? I'm fine. And I asked you directly, is it COVID? You're like, I tested negative, my man.
I did at the time.
You did.
But
I was like, and then we sat there and laughed about how COVID can't get us. I wake up to a snap the next. I believe you said, I'm immortal, I'll never die. And then I wake up the next day to a snap of just 2 positive tests from you. And this is your boy's positive cool face emoji.
I did not put that. Oh my god.
Not that specifically, but you put something
your
very
boy's
similar.
positive cool face emoji is not an appropriate caption.
There was a cool face emoji.
There was not. There
absolutely was.
I wrote I'm positive boys.
Cool face emoji.
Oh my god. Party hat emoji, actually, yeah.
Stinky poo emoji.
Devil emoji.
I'm positive boys. Cowboy emoji.
Well, I did, so after we recorded last week's episode where I claimed, rightfully, that I tested negative, the next morning I tested again, because literally all of my friends had tested positive, and I was like, well, probably didn't evade it in that case, and I did not, and I currently have COVID-19. Yep.
Damn.
Yep. So,
prayers out for BHL.
I feel fine, thanks to the vaccines, I'm assuming. So
I'm assuming it's something to do with what the doctors gave me,
and not just the fact that
my
I'm
own
built
body
different.
strength.
Yeah, no, I feel
not
fine.
Not the fact that I'm a fucking tank.
But I've just been chilling out, isolating and doing my thing. So
what are you just doing, like Deliveroo each day?
Or are you doing, we don't have to bring up
to the kitchen.
my current diet of exclusively delivered foods, but I will say I've eaten 2 burritos in the past 4 days. So, it's been the abs have been better. I don't really have a jawline
mentally
anymore.
I'm feeling strong.
But it is what it is. As soon as I get out of this quarantine, then I'm gonna get back out there, hit the gym, get back to my Adonis-esque physique, watch out Big Nasty. And so
COVID has clearly affected him deeply in the mind.
So anyway, on that positive note, I didn't even try to do that.
God, he's so good. Also, can I just save at the start of the episode,
please,
that if there is some background rumbling / tumbling, it's the tumbler. What a tie back. But yeah, my flatmates are doing laundry right now.
So there's a little rumble tumble in the background.
Yeah, and the thing is, our tumbler is absolutely insane, and like sometimes when we use it, you like put it on for like whenever people aren't in the room or something like that. You'll come back and it's like moved 20 centimeters out of its hole because it rumbles so much. It's like so like right now I can feel my desk like reverberating.
Well, that should make for beautiful listening for the viewers. Also, can I just there are time codes down below. You can skip around. Can I just ask? Are you dressed as are you cosplaying as like someone at a crime scene who how they put like a blanket around someone at the crime scene, give them like a coffee or something? What is the fit we're talking about here?
Cool detective.
No, but like you're cosplaying as like modern Jesus or something. What is this? You're wearing like
it's just my bathrobe.
I thought it was like a blanket or something. Freddie's currently shirtless with like a blanket over him. I was like, what is this look, my guy?
Why do I love it?
Why is this cooler than I've ever looked? Okay, I see. So you're living that billionaire lifestyle. I like how I went
now that I look at myself, I can totally see.
I went for someone at crime scene. You went for a billionaire. Well, anyway, today we're going to do some mini reviews. We're going to do some news. And then we're going to do our most educated topic we've ever done on a subject we're both complete experts in. Horror films. More like horror films. More like horology films.
She's
Classic
a horologist.
Callback. That's a callback to Pirates of the Caribbean 5, for those interested.
Kaya Scodelary's greatest performance.
And arguably one of the greatest films created by man.
Yeah. As opposed to all the films made by Goldfish.
Well, first of all, on the mini reviews, big stinker here. I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing.
Oh, well, also, I totally lied. I just took another chip. I'm sorry.
God damn it. Also, by the way, this is recorded February 5th, and we're going to put it up a week later because we're just cool guys like that. Anyway, yeah.
Boom.
Mini reviews. I have actually not watched nothing.
What are you doing? You worry me. You're isolating, and you've not watched a single thing.
Actually, that's not true. I have done... I did watch one thing. Thank you for reminding me. I watched the first episode, and I intend to watch the rest of a new show called The After Party, which has piqued my interest because it's Phil Lord, Chris Miller are attached to it, who are the Jump Street guys, Lego Movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, all that stuff, Spider-Verse. And so I was intrigued, and it's a murder mystery whodunit comedy in the style of, maybe a Knives Out or a Poirot adventure, but it's a modern day thing, and it's Dave Franco is a celebrity at his high school reunion, and he is mysteriously murdered. And now... Classic
Dave.
Tiffany Haddish as the detective has to figure out who did it, and each episode, from what I've been led to believe, tells the story from a different character's perspective. So I've seen the first episode. It's pretty good.
Quite good.
But yeah, it's fun, and has a charismatic cast. It's pretty stylistically fun, and yeah, Dave Franco has some nutty moments as a douchey celebrity and all the various flashbacks. Nice. It's good. So
what did you say it was called?
The After Party. It's pretty good. So I would I'd recommend. Yeah.
That actually sounds quite good. I might watch.
There we go.
Considered on the list. Well, how brilliant this is lined up. So, as we both know, in I believe 6 days, Death on the Nile comes out.
Oh, it does. Sheesh.
In preparation.
Oh no.
Me and the GF
God
sat and watched a little bit of a sneaky first edition Poirot.
God, you're indoctrinating her in the ways of the Gad tumble.
She saw the Gad tumble. Deadpan. Whilst I was sitting there
Break
laughing.
up with her. Dump her ass.
She's dead to me.
Hope she listens to this.
No, but we sat and very much enjoyed it. I will say, I did fall asleep a little bit.
How dare you?
But she was fully invested throughout the entire thing.
But then the Gad tumble woke you up violently. Woke up screaming.
Jerked up. Shit.
By the way, we're talking about Murder on the Orient Express. I realized we hadn't
actually... we never actually said the title. Yeah, I just said the first of the Poirots or something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, like... Honestly, it's a much more... I think it's a better movie than I gave it credit to be. Like, the second time around watching it. I genuinely really like it.
Yeah, it's
good. It's better than I remembered. Like, obviously I love it, but it's like as a movie, it's also just really good.
Yeah, it's a well put together mystery, and it has a
I think also because we know what happened, or I knew what was happening. Like, I knew the final twist, so I kind of saw the smaller details a lot more now. I was like, ooh, okay.
Did you enjoy the Johnny stabbings?
I did enjoy the Johnny stabbings.
Good stuff. Well, yeah. Well,
who wouldn't?
And now we're prepped for Death on the Nile. I didn't even remember that was coming out next week. I might have to.
Yeah.
Is it appropriate if we both take women to go see Death on the Nile? I feel like that's not like a date movie vibe.
I think it's appropriate.
Okay, fine. We'll FaceTime each other at the same time.
And then let them sit on their own whilst we just sit and chat.
Exactly. Well, you have
She did, however, say, and I quote, "That mustache is ridiculous."
God. I reiterate, dump her ass. Yeah, well, that's all I have for mini reviews. So
I've got. Let me see.
Pretty stinky. God, yeah. I mean, considering I am quarantined, I really should get. I've been I've been way too productive. I've just been doing work and stuff. I'm sorry.
God damn, he's such a working boy.
I'm such a professional.
But no, I've seen 2 more episodes of Daredevil. Going through that,
all right.
And otherwise, I don't think. Have I seen much else?
I mean, we did record the last episode like 4 days ago, so.
True.
Like, it's fine.
I forgot to say last week that I accidentally, not on my own accord, but I did binge watch Too Hot to Handle season 3.
All right, so the news and such.
Anyways,
the news and such. We have 4 pieces of very, very dull, uninteresting news. So we're just gonna blast through this, I think. Jaime Dornan joins Gal Gadot in the Netflix spy thriller Heart of Stone. So Gal Gadot, all up in that Netflix money.
That is genuinely probably the most mediocre headline I've ever.
Well, I included it mainly just for the Dornan, because
I do love
big
the
fans.
Dornan.
We're big fans. Of a man who pooed himself in a bathtub, which is what we know him for. Also, his great acting roles, of course. But
that should be the number one thing on his autobiography. Jaime Dornan, self-pooer in bathtub.
But yeah, I mean, sure. Are you excited for a Netflix spy thriller with Gal Gadot?
I watch it for the Dornan, I guess, but then again, I didn't watch Red Notice, so what will get me to watch a Gal Gadot
yeah,
movie?
True. Then we have Did you see the trailer for After Yang, which is the Coachman out here doing his thing?
I did not see that. No.
It's Colin Farrell, and he has a robot son or something. I'll be honest, I half watched it. And then the robot son is malfunctioning or something, and then he's like, "I gotta look at your memories, robot son," and then he gets all emotional and something. It'll probably be pretty good, I guess. But Colin Farrell is, in it. So. And fun fact, it comes out the same day as the Batman, so Colin Farrell will be starring in 2 movies releasing on March 4th. Big win.
Okay.
For the Farrell, I'd say.
That big paycheck, eh?
Big paycheck, big Farrell paycheck.
Big paycheck, big Farrell paycheck, big paycheck.
I feel like when they hand him the paycheck, that's what he says. He looks down, he's like, big paycheck, big Farrell paycheck.
Just moonwalks out.
Dakota Johnson is going to be Madam Web in a, it's a Spider-Man character, I'm pretty sure. It's Sony, they're making their Spider-Man universe. So they have Morbius, they have Venom and all that. Sorry.
Morbius.
Pardon me, yeah. And then they are now making a Madam Web movie or something with Dakota Johnson. The other shade of the 50 of gray. You
can tell we're huge fans.
I'm off today.
Dakota Johnson, the other shade of the 50.
Yeah, so congrats to Miss Johnson. And finally, the actual only interesting piece of news here, and the only one that I actually watched, I watched it just before we started. Did you
Dwayne Johnson woke up today.
I like how that's an event, as if you're not expecting it to happen.
National holiday.
It's like Groundhog Day. If Dwayne Johnson wakes up, we all have to work 6 more weeks. Did you see the Netflix 2022 movie preview thing? I bet you didn't.
Nope.
Yep.
I did not. This news, I cannot relate.
It is a pretty good video though, because it's a little preview of all the stuff that's coming up next year on Netflix, and it's a weird fourth wall breaking where it's the movies, but then they got the actors to say a line to the camera about come watch Netflix, it's so fucking dope. It's kind of weird, but
that is strange.
There are some. I mean, the news is that there's some cool movies previewed here, like The Gray Man, starring what's his name? The Goose Gosling. The Goose Gosling. And
I
Chris
like how you're sitting
Evans.
there fishing for his name, and then you said it as if you finally found it. What's that boy's? What's that boy from the neighborhood called? Oh, the Goose Gosling.
And Chris Dick Evans. I don't know. Sorry. He's a lovely guy.
Chris the Dick Evans.
He's a great guy. He did have that picture of his dick leaked at one time, so maybe it's
Did he?
appropriate. Don't you remember that? It was like...
Why do you make it sound like it's like your screensaver?
Don't you remember that like momentous occasion?
You know the one? Full shaft, no ball?
I mean, yeah. Not...
Wait.
No, there was that picture where he...
graphically vivid description is about to happen, I feel.
Okay, so the top of it. No, they that thing where he posted a Instagram video, or like a video on his story of him screen recording something in his camera roll, and then like, you know, when the video's done, like he went out from that so you could see his camera roll, and then one of the pictures you could see was in fact the Evans schlong.
Well, do we know for a fact it was the Evan Schlong? Like, did you see him
I
in it
think
as well?
he addressed it, and he turned it into like a bit of a meme, I think. Anyway, what were we saying? The Gray Man, yeah, starring the Goss. I think it's from like the John Wick guys, maybe, which is pretty exciting. Okay. There's a new movie with Jamie Foxx where he's like driving a car. There's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. There's a new movie where Momoa is like a weird sheep man. Like, he has, like, sheep horns. I don't know, he has this, like, ridiculous coat on. He looks like a magician, like...
Let me see this.
A magician goat who also sells crack, maybe? I don't know. I'm trying really hard. Look up Jason Momoa's Slumberland. It's a disturbing image.
Oh, damn. That is...
Right? You see the magician goat who sells crack that I'm talking about.
That is disturbingly bang on the money.
Yeah, and...
Damn, what is he doing in this?
I don't know.
Freaky.
I think it's a children's movie, or it might be a horror movie. Who knows? He's just standing, like, by a lighthouse in this trailer, but...
Also, on the Momoa note, I was just sitting here listening / half watching the pod from last week.
I see.
And then in the Cavill Momoa... so it's not Cavill, it's Momoa. Momoa segment that we talked about. You chose the Cavill Momoa picture?
I did.
Is it on purpose that he's holding a mustache?
What?
Is that something you added?
No.
Is that like the fake mustache? I thought it was like a very niche thing you did, but I guess it's just some random photo.
I literally just, because I was like, okay, what would be a funny picture to put of Momoa? And I looked up like Momoa.
He's holding
meme.
A fake mustache.
What? Oh my god, he is!
I thought it was the most meta thing you've ever done.
That's so... I did not do that on purpose. That is so random. What the f***? A good spot, I guess. Damn. Okay, well that is like the first Google image that shows up when you look up Cavill Momoa meme. Anyway, in the rest... Damn, that kind of threw me off. In the rest of this Netflix thing, we also have... a new Adam Sandler movie called Hustle, where he's like playing basketball. We have a Mark Wahlberg and Kevin Hart team.
That sounds tiring.
I don't know, but from what I saw, the Sandler one doesn't look like one of his stupid comedies. It looks like kind of a more serious movie, or like at least a more interesting movie.
Is it going to be Sandler trying to make it pro in the NBA?
Also, I think you missed when I said we have a Mark Wahlberg, Kevin Hart team up.
Oh, what?
And then there's a new Jonah Hill movie where he's also playing basketball. A lot of basketball here. The Adam Project with the Reynolds and is that Ruffalo? That is Ruffalo. Holy shit! You need to watch this, man, at some point.
Oh, Jesus!
And finally,
the absolute peak of that.
You know how it ends. You see a bunch of people getting on a boat. You're like, this is kind of strange. The camera pulls out, and it's Benoit fucking Blanc. Knives Out 2.
No,
it is.
I need to see this.
So anyway, a lot of exciting stuff coming up on Netflix. And they say a new movie every week. But, you know, some of them will be like epic, you know, Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg team-ups. And some of them will be lame stuff like Knives Out 2. So, that's the news for this week. Now it's time for an epic topic. And I want to note this was Freddie's idea. So, yeah.
One of the ideas I gave you.
Yeah, one of the podcast voucher ideas. Which is not a bad idea. It's just kind of a bad idea for us specifically, but...
I guess, yeah. In fairness, I've been watching a bit lately, you know.
Well, I mean, now that I think about it, this could be kind of a shout, because, like, I mean, we can go over, like...
Because we have a different take.
Yeah. That we haven't seen any of the films we're supposed to be talking about. So, we're going to be talking about the best and worst, or our favorite and least favorite horror films that we've ever seen. And keep in mind, for a little context, personally... Not a fan of horror films. I enjoy the well-made psychological thrillers, you know, when there's like something to gather from it. But I don't like being scared. I don't like jump scares.
You like a Get Out.
Yeah, like a Get Out is a good example. And, you know, like there's some fun in the jump scares, but I'm not like the kind of person who, like some people kind of view horror movies as like, you know, like a roller coaster, like an amusement park ride. Like it's fun, like, you know, I don't know, I just don't enjoy it personally, and I don't enjoy being creeped out later in the day when I'm trying to fall asleep and I think about that one moment that was really spooky.
That was really spooky. The thing is, I'm not a huge fan of them in general. I'm the same. I don't love the jump scares because they always get me. But I love watching horror movies with other people.
No, yeah.
It's not something I'd sit and watch alone, unless it's like a good one like Get Out. But those really like, also they're usually quite bad movies in general. But it's like those like jump scare movies and stuff like that. I love watching it with other people.
Yeah, well, I don't think
I like seeing their reaction, and I like, yeah, them seeing mine.
I don't know if I've ever actually watched a horror movie alone. Like, it's just not. I don't know. It's not the vibe.
It's just not the vibe, Chief.
That's the only time I really find them enjoyable, I think, watching them with people. And, like, because, you know, it's kind of like watching a comedy where, like, there's, like, an atmosphere, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But, yeah, so, I mean, we can just, honestly, I'm going to go to my document that I have called List of Movies I've Seen, which I keep an actual track record of all the movies I've seen. And I guess I'll just try to find all the horror movies in here, because it can't be that many.
I'll do something recent and get this one out of the way because technically it's not a movie. It's a show. And I think
it's a potato I ate yesterday.
Technically, this is not a movie. No, it's I think I've talked about it on the pod. If I haven't, big missed opportunity because it's one pretty good and also paints me as a badass because I sat through an entire series of horror series stuff, I guess. The Haunting of Hill House. Did I talk about this?
You've mentioned it on occasion, but.
Anyways, yeah, very very good. It's one of those
a spooky boy.
Yeah, it's certainly a spooky boy. But you know, in some horror movies where like the spooky just gets kind of stupid and ridiculous.
The spooky, yes, I'm familiar. Yeah.
In this one, whilst it's obviously still like supernatural and stuff like that, but it's not overdone to the point where like the ghost can just do whatever, like where it's like, oh, she just flies through a wall and then just rips your throat out. It's a lot more like psychological, where anyone who's like affected by whatever haunting is happening, to everyone else it makes it seem like it's just like psychological like issues the person's having, and it makes it a little bit more grotesque in a way that I like.
Okay.
So it's like are you gonna watch it? Do you mind if I spoil?
I do not mind if you spoil.
All right. So basically, like towards the middle of the series, one of the main characters, she basically goes to Hill House, which is where they grew up and the place that's haunted, and then she gets possessed in a way that makes her see her wedding day like one of the happiest moments in her life, and then she's like walking around. It's a very very eerie scene where it's like from her vision it kind of like switches from her vision to what's actually happening. She's like walking around dancing with no one, very eerie, and then to like where she's dancing with her husband, and then suddenly it's just revealed that she's in that like kind of state of, you know, like hallucination. She's tied a noose around her neck, and then she just jumps off the library roof and dies. It's like, Jesus. But yeah, so like something like that. So one.
It's more like psychologically kind of.
Like it's also
not
just
as
like
dumb as like the usual.
Well, it's also stuff. There because it is ghost stuff and stuff like that, but it's done in a way that's I find more entertaining, anyways.
From a non-horror perspective, I think that's as good of a thing that you can get from it. That like you still can get some. Excuse me. You still can get some enjoyment out of it. Yeah, okay. I think I've compiled a pretty good list as of now.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, I say that, and the first one is Scary Movie, so that's not a great start. Okay, I'll start from...
So I've got a pretty solid list here. The first one is Scary Movie, in which Snoop Dogg and Jonah Hill were in the franchise.
Were they? They weren't in the first film.
I don't know if they were in the first film.
Get your facts straight. But yeah, okay, fine. Let's start with our classic one, Get Out. Easily my favorite horror film of all time.
I think so as well. It's so good.
And like we've talked about it many times. It was one of the reasons we started the pod, because we just loved it so much that we wanted to talk about it and get our thoughts out there. But it combines comedy, horror, and like strange word to use for a Peele film, but like satisfaction into a film.
Yeah, because like straight up badassery.
Yeah, because it's like one of my things that I like the least about horror films is thinking, like, I wish they would do this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, like, stupid decisions people make.
Yeah, and I get why they don't do that generally, because then, like, there wouldn't be a movie. So that's why it's so impressive that this one manages to combine that, where, like, it is still scary and there is still a movie, but it also, everything you want to happen happens, and it's an extremely, like...
And, like, he acts very much the way that...
Like a normal person.
Like a normal person would, like, you know, in some horror movies where, like, you see a ghost and then they're like, what happens? Like, oh, it's nothing. I'm just, like, dreaming. It's like, no, you're not. Get the out.
Where are those keys, like, Rose?
Rose, give me those keys.
That was a good Kaluuya.
Yeah, I'm often told that I am the Danish Kaluuya.
Almost made me spit my water out of sheer disgust.
Yeah, so, like, it's you relate to the Kaluuj quite a bit in this movie.
The Kaluuj. Did I really just hear those words come out of your mouth? Yeah, no, but it's also, it's on top of all of that, like, it has, you know, it's so much more interesting than most horror films, like, in its premise, and then the, you know, underlying themes, and just excellently performed, excellently directed by a guy who you wouldn't necessarily expect to be a horror guy, but he did it perfectly, and hilarious, and it has Rod, who's an iconic character.
Rod is so good. I've never not liked Rod in anything he's been in.
He's such a delightful presence. I can only think
of 2 or 3 things, but still.
He's even okay in Space Jam 2, in which he makes a small cameo. Yeah, I know. But everyone has to make a paycheck, you know what I mean?
Everyone needs to be in Space Jam 2 at some point.
Then, do you have any, or I can just... I mean, I've
got plenty, but you
a beautiful list. Well, I guess one of my favorites, because it isn't really a horror film, but more of a take on the horror genre. Piglet's Adventure. Cabin in the Woods. You've seen this, right?
I guess. I'm not sure.
It's the one where it's a very memorable. It's kind of a hard one to forget.
Is it Hemsworth?
It is, where it's like...
I've not seen it then.
It's so good. It's such a funny dissection of horror movies, where it's like, it's a classic horror movie playing out, and then it's like people in a control room create the horror elements, and it's like for, you know, to make this like blood sacrifice or something. But it's basically, what you need to know is, like, it's a very fun parody looking at like horror film behind the scenes. And so it definitely does have scary moments, but it's much more of like a satire of horror movies, and it's very, very funny. And it was it was a little unfortunate because, like, I watched it for the second time at a summer house with a bunch of friends, and I think, like, they were a little confused because they were expecting like an actual horror movie, and instead it was like more of like kind of a jokey parody satire sort of thing of horror films. But it's very fun, and it does have one of the most incredible insane scenes in movie history with I think you might have seen this, but there's a part where like all of the horror movie monsters get like unleashed at the end, because they have them all in like cages that they use to, I mean, spoilers, like, to play out horror movies, and then like all of them just come out all at once. It's just like the most like horribly graphic, like violent, terrifying fucking scene. It's very good. Damn. It's a great movie. I would highly recommend Cabin in the Woods. Yeah,
I do want to watch. I've heard a lot about it, but I've never actually seen it, I don't think.
Yeah, especially, it's perfect, I think, for people like us, lower level beta males,
intellects,
who like don't really enjoy horror movies that much, but enjoy a good film.
Good stuff. All right, I've got one that's called I think I've talked about it on the pod as well before. Hush.
Yes. Yeah. You've recommended very heavily. Actually, Lele also just recommended that to me as well, I think.
No, it's very good, because again, it's not like your typical horror movie that's like, you know, like full of, there's jump scares obviously, but it's not, it's one that's really like, it grips you, because it's something that if you were in the situation, goddamn, it would terrify you. So it's basically a girl or lady, she's like in her 20s, who's deaf.
Okay.
And she lives alone in the middle of the woods for some reason. And then there's a masked guy trying to break into her house. Yeah.
God.
It's freaky. It's a nasty movie. And then like a bunch of things happen, and but it's very, very good. I had a very fun time watching it as well the first time, because we basically watched it in like a school setting where there's like a bunch of people. And then behind me, some guy went, what does hush mean? And then some other guy went, shh. He's like, and then the guy went, I was just asking, chill out. The guy was sitting like genuinely confused. But no, very, very good movie, and very, very scary, and not that long either. So like you can sit there and have a good time with friends, and then I don't know,
Okay.
still keep the night young.
Still keep the night young. What are you, a fucking cowboy or something? Yeah, no, I think honestly, I find that much scarier than like I find more realistic stuff much scarier, like home invasion stuff. There's this movie called the what's it called? Like the Strangers, maybe. I haven't seen it, but I've seen like parts of it, and like that freaks me out. Like,
let's see here.
Yeah, like home invasion
Strangers.
where people break in and masks and shit. And yeah, I hate it. Well, to switch gears a little bit to a really bad one.
Okay.
I'm sure we've talked about this in the pod because I saw it with Yassine on his birthday, because Yassine is a huge fan of horror films, the friend I like more than you. Also, sorry, I just remembered an amusing Yassine interaction I had the other day. But basically, okay, sidetrack real quick. But I was talking to one of my new friends about the pod, and in kind of a jokey way, but probably a very genuine way, which is hurtful, but whatever. She was like, "Oh yeah, I watched the 100th episode." I was like, "Oh, what do you think?" She was like, "I thought it was kind of cringy." I was like, okay. Thank you for that. Noted. And then I told Yassine about that, and he like laughed for a little bit, and then he suddenly stopped laughing. He was like, "Wait a minute, I'm in that episode." And I was like, yeah. She was probably referring specifically to your segment,
specifically to your Netflix segment.
But anyway, yeah, Yassine loves horror movies, so we saw The Nun together for his birthday, and I mean,
I've seen The Nun as well.
I hate to roast Yassine's birthday, but it sucked. No, it was. I mean, as usual, it's nice to.
It's not a very good movie.
It's fun to see stuff like, especially horror movies with friends, but also especially in the cinema. I don't know, like that's the worst part. Like, it wasn't a good movie. Like, it wasn't scary like after the fact, like where like
no,
I would like go around being like, ooh, so scared the nun might come
where's
out.
the nun?
But like just in the movie with like the loud noises and shit. I know it's such a lame portrayal of myself. There's so many loud noises and I just don't like it. I was in the cinema and I was dark and then there was a loud noise and I didn't like it, and there's nuns and I'm agnostic and it was just terrible. I just don't like that vibe. Like I'm not gonna lie, I spent most of the movie looking at my popcorn because I just don't enjoy the jump scares, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I can imagine you sitting there just absolutely shivering and pissing yourself and just looking into your popcorn like...
Shivering and pissing into the popcorn specifically. Anyway, The Nun.
And then eating it. Frothing at the mouth.
Okay. The Nun. I wonder why that girl said our podcast was cringy.
But it's clearly dope.
Yeah, no, The Nun.
On a... Much similar note. Oh, sorry. Are you done?
I am.
Are you done with this bullshit? I watched La Llorona, I believe it's called, which is basically The Nun.
Yeah,
but
it's in the same universe as well, isn't it?
I think so.
It's
yeah,
the Conjuring
The Nun,
universe.
but she's like an old widow or something who like killed her kids or something like that. The main thing I remember from it is that like. It's a decent movie, I'll say. It's still kind of stupid. Better than The Nun, I'd say. But the one thing I remember very clearly, which is very strange, is that I think his name's Tuco from Breaking Bad.
Oh, Mr. Salamanca.
Right? He's the guy that Walter throws fake meth at.
Yeah, of course.
In the beginning.
You don't have to explain Tuco to me.
No. I'm asking you if I'm right in thinking it's.
Yeah,
Tuco.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So. Very defensive about your Tuco knowledge. Basically, he's in that, but he's in it as a priest who's like the most holy man, and it's just a contrast from what I've seen him at before. Yeah. Very strange.
Father Tuco.
Decent movie, I guess, but yeah, still not really my vibe.
All right. I guess we can talk both It films. Both It films. They are. I think the first one's pretty decent. We saw both of these in the cinema, actually, didn't we? Together.
Did we? Did we see it one together as well?
Yeah, me, and Yassine. Yassine and I saw It one together, and then we saw It 2 together, didn't we?
We saw It 2 together. I know that.
We did. Yeah. Yeah, it was a Woody. Oh my god. But yeah, I think the first one was pretty. I think the first one was a great like mainstream horror film that like sort of. I think there's a reason it was such a huge phenomenon. It was just so like everyone was gonna go see it. It's like creepy clown. Like it's the most basic like kind of horror. And like the most famous horror story, and I think they did a pretty good job of executing it. And the second one was just a mess. I really was not a fan of the second one.
Was just no.
It was. I mean, I like McAvoy.
I feel like we sat and laughed added a lot more than we should have because it was just like unintentionally funny at times as well.
Yeah, but I think it was just so drawn out and repetitive. I can't remember what happens in it, but I remember the same thing happened.
Almost 3 hours, right?
Yeah, and the same thing. I think like there's a part where they split up into teams, and then it was just the same scene for like an hour straight where it's like, okay, these two people go to this place, and then there's a person who they think is normal, and then it's, a creepy thing, and then they go away. And then that happened like 10 times in a row, like, and I get, there's a horror formula, but to like, there was no differentiate. No. You could almost like count down in your head like to when certain beats were going to happen. It was just, and then the ending was pretty unsatisfying. It basically just ended the same way as the first one. There were a lot of unnecessary flashbacks, I felt, to the kids, even though they were like good in the first movie, but it felt sort of like almost contractual. Like they're like, okay, we have to have this many scenes with the kids in this one, so better flashback.
And they de-aged the kids as well, which just looked strange.
And they had such a dumb ending where I was like, we're all losers if you think about it. And I was like, no, movie, you are the loser. You fucking stink.
And then you dabbed and left the cinema.
And then I pissed in my popcorn.
No, movie, you're the loser.
So I don't know, for what they are, like modern mainstream like horror blockbusters, I think those are better than most. Like they're better than The Nun and a bunch. Like the thing is, we don't watch like just the average horror movie that comes out. I think most of them are pretty bad. Like most of them are just like this like generic schlocky whatever. So like for that,
schlocky. I've never heard a better word.
For that, I think they're pretty good. But second one is definitely way worse than the first.
Let's talk. Let's talk Conjuring. Have you seen the Conjuring movies?
I might have watched one of them with Yassine, but I don't remember anything about it.
See, in my professional and humble opinion,
as a podcaster,
I don't think I've seen the second one, which I think should be the best one. In fairness, like, I mean no offense, but overrated.
Yeah,
yeah, it's all I can really say. Like, it's the one guy who's honestly a bit of an annoying actor who's like one of the.
You don't like Patrick? What's his name? King Orm from Aquaman.
I like him in Aquaman.
He seems like a delightful guy.
He's alright.
Did you see that? He retweeted a tweet or something that was like about him, where it was like, this guy decided to be in every movie but still not be famous. It's very poignant because I can't remember his name.
He's just King. What was it? King Orm?
King Orm and Conjuring.
King Worm.
Yeah, King Worm. But sorry, go ahead.
Well, so yeah, it's just I don't love it because it's the whole like, oh, we need to call a priest and perform a what is it they perform?
A circumcision. I mean,
I was gonna say euthanasia. That is certainly not what it is.
Oh my god! An exorcism.
Exorcism.
God. Perform a circumcision or a euthanasia. They're formulaic. Is your.
Yeah, very much so. And it's just like, I don't sit there. I'm like, this is not very enjoyable to watch. Like, obviously, I get scared by the jump scares and all, but it's also not a movie where I sit there afterwards like, oh my god, that was really scary. I'm gonna be kept up awake because of just how kind of like it is.
Yeah, from what you're saying, it sounds kind of like, I don't know. It's sort of like middle ground horror movie. Like there's like really bad.
Like I think it's one of the most famous franchises there is. But
no, yeah, but it's
if that's the peak of the horror movie genre.
I think it's also like it's like the mainstream, like I don't know, like how some of the Marvel movies are called, like kind of a bit generic, a bit forgettable. It might be that of like the horror world where like Get Out and that kind of thing is like a really like poignant, like exciting thing, and then there's The Nun or whatever, which is terrible, and then there's The Conjuring, which is like serviceable and like spooky enough, but you don't really think about it again. I think a big appeal for the fans of the franchise, especially from what I've gathered from Yassine, is that in also a Marvel way, the fact that it is this franchise that connects, I think the fans enjoy it because there's the Annabelle.
That is a pretty cool thing.
The Nun, the La Llorona, what was it?
La Llorona, the Annabelle.
Yeah, because I remember in The Nun, then at the end there's some fucking thing where it's like, and then 20 years later, the Nun showed up with King Orm or whatever, and Yassine was like, oh, that's the thing from that movie, and I was like,
then the Nun showed up in Aquaman, and it was very, very weird.
But yeah, so I see the appeal, but I think I might have watched one of them once, but I don't remember much, if I'm honest. Well, speaking of which, we talked about this in the Thwilms segment of Pod 100, our least cringy episode, honestly, in my opinion. But Oculus, which does star Thwaites and others. And we watched this with a bunch of friends when I was like 12 maybe. So it was like, one of those like gather around for a spooky movie. And I remember even as a 12-year-old, I was like, this isn't that spooky. I don't know.
This is not scary at all.
I'm not even like shitting my pants at the moment. So like,
I'm not even needing to piss in my popcorn at all right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember it was it had its moments, but it was generally whatever. I'll do another one. That was really bad. Before I Wake, this is a weird one. I don't know. It was like this kid who turns into bees or some shit. And like...
Classic kid moment.
Yeah, that classic moment. Everyone's had it growing up.
Every childhood boy has experienced it.
He did. Or
turned into bees.
No, he turned into like wasps and shit. Or like, there was one part where a bunch of wasps came down the chimney. It was really dumb, and I didn't enjoy it. And then at the end, his mom was like, I still love you, even though you're a wasp boy or whatever. And he was like... And then he died or something. I don't know.
You're right. That's much better than your last review. I still love you, even though you're a wasp boy. And then he went, ha!
He probably didn't even die at the end. None of this probably even happened.
I think there's nothing with any bees or wasps in this movie.
I think I maybe literally am just thinking the poster had... No, it was butterflies.
What are you talking about?
He turns into like a bunch of butterflies.
Are you melting? Your brain is melting.
Oh my god. Yeah, and there's a creepy demon who's like a friend of his, and then they
what is going on? What is happening? There's clearly some like hallucinogenic drug you're on that's causing this.
No, oh yeah, I remember this. Anyway, it was bad. It wasn't good.
It sounds amazing.
Anyway.
So the kid turns into bees that then are wasps that then are butterflies. And then they come down the chimneys and he goes, bleh! And then his mom still loves him. And then he doesn't die, but he dies.
Exactly.
And then there's a demon that's his friend.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing.
There we go. Cool.
What a summary.
I've joined this like this thing
cult. Speaking of demons that are my friends, I've joined recently.
No, I joined this like reviewer critic thing where they like teach you how to write reviews or whatever. And
I've joined this forum where I review things.
It's an official thing, okay? And I enjoy that this is a review I should submit to them. I should just send this soundbite. God. Anyway, go ahead.
That's very good. I watched let's see. Ooh, one that's actually Hereditary.
You've seen Hereditary?
I've seen Hereditary.
I was just talking to someone about this.
About me watching Hereditary? No. Quite a good movie. The first time I watched it, it was way scarier because I will say, in a state of slight alcoholism, and I was also very tired. So whenever I'd wake up, it would be because people were screaming, and I'd be like, ah! And then the second time I watched it, it was like, it's still scary and freaky, but it's a pretty good movie. Like, definitely one of the like better horror movies, and I think it's like, it's got that reputation as well for good reason, because it's quite unique, but also like, it satisfies with certain like, cliches that just work. So a good movie, quite a long movie if I remember correctly, but good overall.
Let's go.
There was what the
Sorry.
what the is that?
Oh, brilliant. Okay, I'm sorry. They're hosing down the steps of my accommodation, which is right outside my window. So I'm sorry about the noise that's going to be there. Really great timing on that, guys.
Well, my Tumblr went on for like 20 minutes. That's fine.
Okay, so the whole pod's gonna be good.
Take second half. I take first.
I was talking to my friend the other day about Hereditary, and she said the scariest moment was this moment where like the kid locks himself in an attic, and then like the mom is like
that is a terrifying moment.
At the attic.
That's not even a jump scare. It's just so like disgustingly like freaky. I hate it.
It's words that have been used to describe FTK gaming often. Disgustingly freaky.
Well, do you know the scene?
No, I haven't seen it.
Talking about.
I was just. Yeah.
Well, it's basically the kid locks himself in an attic, and the mom's got the ability to suddenly climb on walls now, and then to open the door, she basically just like. In a non-human way, like it's not possible to move that fast for a human. I don't think. Just banging her head against it, like.
Yeah, that was it.
It's so disturbing.
I actually kind of want to see it. I'm not lying. Bang head scene. Oh God. Yeah.
Are you seeing it?
horrifying. Yeah.
And then like he's like crying and saying "mommy" at the same time. It's like, it hits.
Yeah. Anyway, I've heard also the movie Midsummer is kind of similar vibes, maybe, so that might be one to check out.
So Midsummer, I think, is more like, I don't think
cultish,
it's
like, kind of.
Yeah, it's like cultish. I don't know how
disturbing.
supernatural it is, but it should be very like scary as well.
Yeah, there was some. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. Good horror movies.
Okay.
Well done, Krasinski. Like, it uses a lot of good horror movies use like the senses in a certain way, like with Hush, like Deaf Woman. There's Don't Breathe, where I also think he's blind, and then like A Quiet Place where it uses like sound and there's a lot of opportunity for jump scares but like cleverly done and like how to utilize stuff in more of like a terrifying way that like maybe you wouldn't normally. So, and just well-made movies, like. Yeah, they're actually both great now that I think about it. I think I was going to say the first one's better, but the second one was really good.
Second one was very good as well, yeah.
So yeah, someone who doesn't like horror movies.
I miss the Krasinski, but
but he made a cheeky appearance, I guess.
In fairness, he did.
I mean, I can just quickly run through. Well, I'll say Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland are not horror movies. They're like parodies of horror movies, but they would probably, if you could count them as horror, those would probably be some of my top ones because they. Yeah, again, they play with the genre in a fun way, and just are a good time. I don't think I've seen any actual like unironic zombie movies, unless you count Army of the Dead, which is the most unironic film of all time, which unironically uses the song "Zombie" at the ending,
which
just f***ing epic.
Very
I'm not
good.
gonna lie, that takes some balls.
Which honestly, that is a ballsy move, and they freaking did it. I've seen quite a few horror zombie movies. I won't count them as like the typical horror movie though, because it's still like
fair.
I don't know. Yeah, so zombie movies is another topic for another day. Because I've seen like 5 or 6.
We gotta run through these pretty quickly because we're nearing the 1 hour mark here.
Yeah, I mean there might be a potential part 2 to this.
True.
Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe we'll binge. Maybe we'll watch horror movies that people actually like, all of the ones that you would think we should have seen. Because, like, I mean, we've left off all of, like, the important ones on this list.
Well, I'll say one important one that I've seen. Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you saw the remake.
Yeah, the latest one.
Okay.
It's I don't find him particularly threatening, I won't lie.
This is Mike Myers.
This is Mike Myers. That's a scarier scene than he is. Like, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but never have I seen Mike Myers walk or Michael Myers live.
Yeah,
I mean, like run. Like he only walks places.
Yeah, that's kind of a known like.
Could you not just like run away from him?
Yeah, I think they do like
a light jog.
Parodies of that in like Scary Movie and stuff, where it is kind of. Like, when you look away, then he's probably, like, in full sprint trying to get to you. But, yeah, those iconic, like, classic horror movies, like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, or Nightmare on 13th? No, what is it? Friday the 13th and all that. Yeah, like, maybe if we do watch some of those, maybe we could do, like, a classic horror movie episode. That could be a bit of a shout. Because, I mean, the last ones I have here, I'll just quickly burn through. Don't really count as any. Coraline is a horror movie for kids, I would say. Like, if you're a kid, that's the scariest movie you've ever seen.
I think it counts.
Yeah, that is a terrifying, horrifying movie, but a great one. Shutter Island isn't really a horror movie. It's more of like a psychological thriller, but it's very good. I
still haven't seen Shutter Island.
It's so good. You have to see it. It f***s with you. I said that very aggressively. It f***s with you.
It f***s with you.
Prisoners. Not really a horror movie, but just, alright, that's the most, like, I feel like horrified and, like, psychologically disturbed I've been watching a movie in a long time.
It's a nasty one.
Bandersnatch, kind of horrorish, more psychologically, whatever. The New Mutants, I guess, kind of counts as a horror movie. And it was trash.
It was
that's my
terrifically awful.
Be submitting that as well as a professional review. And then the last 3 here, or do you have any more?
I've got, I watched the Shallows or something like that with Blake Lively, like the shark movie.
Blake Lively Shark Time.
Like it goes on a bit too long, I think, because like with the like minimal setting and stuff like that, there's not much you can really do. to keep it entertaining throughout the entire thing. So like there are points where it kind of lacks, I think, but in general, pretty cool.
Solid.
Shark behavior, not that realistic, but who cares?
Kind of cringe.
Kind of cringe shark behavior, but we move.
Well, yeah, and then Last Night in Soho we've talked about, great movie. Parasite and The Lighthouse are my last two, which are kind of horror movies, more, again, like kind of psychological, disturbing kind of thing, but both excellent films, and yeah, those would be up there for me.
There's some really good zombie movies that
we can do a zombie movie episode.
Yeah, we'll save those because I think they're like a genre on their own. But yeah, let me just see this list.
Because we do have to. I also have to go. Like, I'm sorry. We kind of have to.
I need to bounce.
You may be asking where I'm going because I'm in quarantine. I have things to do. Okay, God, get off my back.
I need to hit the town. It's in the COVID-ridden.
I need to get to the club. I need to spit on some people. I'm not going to do that, just for the record.
In case anyone I know gets COVID, it was not me. I have been inside the whole time. Allegedly.
In case anyone I spat on gets COVID, that was before I had COVID. I just want to be clear.
I mean, I'm sure there are other ones, but right now, I think I'll leave it there.
Okay. And totally not because I was just pressuring you into.
Totally not because you totally need to go and spit on people. But
sorry, and we can do many a part 2. You know, when we inevitably think of
we can watch more movies. We could do one part 2. We could do part 3 and 4. And 5.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, you raise a good point. Well, now it's time for
the Cnews.
Well, movie guy, our resident Tom Cruise rumor factory mill, is back. Sorry, I'm gonna say that again. That was a weird way of phrasing it. Movie guy, our local Tom Cruise rumor man, is back with some more Tom Cruise rumors.
Much better.
He sent in an email about the Multiverse of Madness Tom Cruise rumors and I guess potential spoilers for Multiverse of Madness. This is at the word of movie guy. I mean, sorry, should I not say his name? Maybe he'll get like. Well, it's not like he works in the set of Multiverse of Madness, so he's not going to get fired or something.
And also, I don't think movie guy is his official name.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that's his first and middle and last name. Well, anyway, there's a rumor that... movie guy just sent this in, actually. He didn't, report this. What am I saying? That Tom Cruise's...
You make it sound like it's some, hot scoop that he went, undercover to get.
That Tom Cruise's Iron Man... who allegedly might appear as a variant of Iron Man, Tom Cruise, be a fun little meme, will apparently be super powerful. So he'll have 3 Infinity Stones, an advanced armor, and he keeps the head of Thanos preserved in a jar of liquid. So if that is true, I kind of love it because Cruise would just bring a natural, insane intensity to the role. If he was Iron Man, he
would be able to do that.
He would have Thanos' head in a jar. You know what I mean? That's a very Cruise thing to do. So I really hope that happens because that made me laugh, and I think that'll be. I really just hope he shows up. That'd be great. That'd be such.
Fingers crossed.
Well, now it's time for the announcements and such that we're going to record today. Again, where we're doing these things where, now the announcements and such. Yeah, it's going to be a week late, but then we'll get to the next announcements next week. So it's all good. T-Money from The Office. Is that an Office?
You sound like an old grandpa reading rapper lists. T-Money with baby no dollar sign?
It's also have you seen Michael Bisping reading out people donating in his chat and they put the classic bend over kind of names and he's like, I have $5 from Anita Handjob. Anyway, so I believe it's T-Money. Oh my god! And I think that might be an Office reference, which is pretty, T for T-Money, what Andy says. Anyway, he sent in the video, you've probably seen it, of Dwayne on the red carpet, where he's like, yeah, I'm in hair and makeup, and the reporter absolutely roasts him, where he's like, what hair? And Dwayne is seems kind of perplexed, but he's like, makeup! And then clearly goes to cry afterwards.
Yeah, it's Dwayne was not on board with that one at all.
Yeah, Dwayne was not here for it. He's usually a bit jovial, but that one clearly hit him where it hurt a little bit.
Yeah, or just went over his head.
Yeah, yeah, because it's so bald and shiny. And T-Money says...
Anything that touches it just slides right off.
He says, #stop Dwayne abuse. I agree. Then on the fan page...
Stop Debuse.
Let's see if there's some comments from yesterday's pod. Michael Scarn says, day one of asking the Poorly Planned podcast to do an episode on pain and gain. You know what? We'll put it on the list. I don't know if we can do a full episode. Keep asking, though,
because that'll be quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, day one of many. Peacemaker, what a joke. Classic. Kian says, this past week I've been sick with COVID, and listening to the old pods has really kept my spirits high. I'm happy to hear that, and I've also been sick with COVID. Bros. Yeah, there you go. And I've been happy to produce the pods, I guess. ZJ sounded kind of conceited and like self-obsessed. I'm kind of happy to make these works of art for you.
I'm happy to make you happy.
No, but I hope you feel better, Kian. And yeah, we'll beat this together, all of us on the planet. You know, big movement here. ZJ13 Goat, anything by John Williams is great. Very true. Daniel at the Movies, another extremely funny and enjoyable episode. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Daniel. Some of my favorite include Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and Jaws. P.S. Every time you did your Morgan Freeman impression, all I could think of was Kermit the Frog. That's kind of a big problem with a Morgan Freeman impression.
that's kind of a huge L. In
Not
the
exactly
Freeman
what
department.
we were going for. Another P.S. Hope you feel better soon, BHL. Thank you. I honestly, I had a bit of a sore throat, but I honestly feel like pretty normal. Joe C, another great pod as usual. Some of my favorites, Back to the Future. That's very good. Danny Elfman, Spider-Man, First Avenger, Avengers, John Williams, yeah. Sean Finn, another hilarious pod. Can't wait for you to watch the rest of Peacemaker because I think it's an amazing show. Episode 4 is, in my opinion, one of the greatest
one joke
episodes of television ever. Yeah, I can't wait to watch the rest either.
That's quite a statement.
Yeah.
Television ever.
Get hyped from Shaun. Cal W, best score has definitely got to be the Tom Cnews theme. Very true. Whoever made that, I'm so sorry that I can't remember off the top of my head, but whoever made that, please write in the comments, and I don't know, we'll give you a shout out again because it's worth it. Yeah. GC Green, can't wait for the favorite movie soundtracks episode in which BHL will gush over Baby Driver for 2 hours. Damn right. Can't wait for that either.
That is very, very true.
And Anson Hartzler, oh man, I'm so sorry. I feel so mean because we read all the other comments, and now this one, it's a long comment. I'm sure based on Anson's track record, very insightful and interesting. But we are on a bit of a time crunch at the moment. Anson's comments are worth it. Worse.
Or worse.
The most interesting film score, while not my number one, was Kensuke Ushio's work on the anime Liz and the Bluebird. The score is very experimentally minimalist. Just 3 elements, piano, the oboe, and various sounds from the real school that this animated school location is based off of. School recordings like footsteps, nearby wind tapping windows. They literally went around the school recording things like that. They incorporated into the... Okay, so it sounds like a very unique film score. This is my favorite piece of film. If you want to... Okay, I will check that out. I'm going to open that in a new tab to check out when we're done. Yeah, see, Anson always coming... Honestly, Anson kind of puts us to shame as podcasters because he always comes through with, like...
Anson always comes through with, like, genuine, like, deep and, like, actually interesting things.
And he's an anime, like, expert who's not very irritating. Anyway, thank you guys so much for the nice comments. And then on the fan page, Kian says, gotta love the Spotify pod covers. And it's the New Girl pod. I appreciate you appreciating those. I do pick those out myself. Then, this is from the Netflix thing. Chris Evans with the mustache, which is him and the Gray Man. Left Schmidt with the mustache in season 7. Right, Chris Evans and the Gray Man. Psych, fooled you. Although I don't blame you. They look incredibly similar. Do they not? They do. Very much so.
They do.
It's not a good look for the Evans. I'm not going to lie.
Nah, Schmidt rocks it better, and he does not rock it.
And I'm sorry, I've just seen the latest post, 11 sus, from a Death on the Nile preview, and he just wrote Amogus.
Amogus.
So yeah, great stuff. Check out the fan page. The fan page is linked down below, and the fan-made TikTok link down below. And we're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and if you're listening there, we're on YouTube. Please leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and please leave a comment on what you thought of today's episode and your favorite horror movies and least favorite. Also leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell button, tell your friends about it. Even if they tell you it's cringy, don't let that hold you down. They're just jealous haters. And, probably also joking,
they are.
But also jealous haters.
They are jealous haters.
And I hope she listens to this. And yeah, you can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. And you can email the pod at oh my God. You can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com. And wait, what am I doing?
You're done.
Oh, okay. .com.
You can rest now. You can find me on Twitter at FTK_DullSniper. You can find me on Instagram at Fidalgard, and you can find me on YouTube at FDK Space Gaming.
Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
My demon friend.